Well, you said that that the world's safer than people kind of are made to believe,
Yeah.
but you did have one experience in a van where it was pretty unnerving. I'm talking about the bandits on the
Yeah,
road or
yeah.
something.
That well, I was in a Toyota Hilux. Yeah, but before I mentioned about that, I would like to emphasise that it is so much safer
Mm,
than people say. And a lot of the countries I've been to, places like Syria and Yemen and Congo, there's a lot going on. There's horrors going on there. But for a foreigner visiting, it's a lot safer than you can imagine. So,
yeah.
but yeah, this particular time, I I've been in the Congo for a bit, the DRC, um, and I'd crossed through Rwanda, and on the way I'd spent 10 days with this British expat aid worker in Rwanda. Um, I arranged to get a lift in this Toyota Hilux with a guy who was heading towards Lake Victoria, which I think was probably something like about a 7 or 8 hour drive. It was a long way away. Um, the following morning, so I got up early, met this guy, and he was quite often in Africa. They do this. If someone's got to do a long journey, they'll let everybody know in a village or town what they're doing, and then people who need a lift will get a lift with him and pay towards his fuel, so he doesn't have to,
Okay.
because people can't afford the fuel costs. So there was myself, two women. One had a baby, the other one had quite a youngish child, and this other guy, probably in his 30s, all local Tanzanians. Um, as a Mzungu, the white guy, I was embarrassingly given the front passenger seat, which is the way it works, and I apologise for that. That's how it works. So I was sat up in the front, and off we took. It's still dark. Gradually, the sun started coming up over the horizon. It's just low bush, few trees, nothing remarkable. I was very tired. I wasn't really taking notice of what was going on, and the roads were pretty much deserted. The only vehicle was there was just a Matutu, which is like a minibus in front, a tiny, tiny minibus. You can cram about 7 or 8 people in it with a squeeze. Um, and that's another sort of public service transport, bush taxi, you call it. And that was up in front. Anyway, we were driving down this road, and these things happen very, very quickly. But all of a sudden, I noticed the bush taxi in front started swerving from side to side. And I thought, is he drunk? What's he doing? And then I heard what I thought was a tyre blow. And you hear this tat 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 as the rubber of the tyre
Yeah.
hitting the underside of the car. And then I noticed my driver seemed to be trying to reach underneath the steering wheel for the bonnet release catch. Bearing in mind we're doing probably 60 miles an hour at this stage. And he's braking really hard at the same time. All these things were all happening within literally 1 or 2 seconds. So my head's kind of buzzing, really confused. Like, what the hell's going on? We've got a flat tyre. That car has been driven by a drunk, and our driver's trying to open the bonnet whilst we're doing 60
Mm.
miles an hour down the road. And so I looked over my shoulder to ask the people behind, not that anyone spoke any English, but what's going on. And they're all lying flat on the back seat, like sort of hunched over each other. And still, because I haven't got a brain, I couldn't work out what was going on. I'm that stupid. And I thought, what? And I looked forwards again, and suddenly, smack, the windscreen right in front of my face just splintered. And then I got it, because I saw some people either side of the road up ahead. We were being shot at.
That's
It's like,
mental.
oh, okay, I'd better duck down then, hadn't I? I tried to throw myself flat. And like I say, we're braking so hard, the bonnet was dipped right down at the front. And we screeched to a halt, and this tap, 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 tap kept going. The driver beside me, how he did it, I don't know, but he gunned it into reverse. He flew back and sideways. And at either side of the road, which is quite common in Africa, there's quite a big drop from the tarmac. It's a couple of feet deep trench. And when you get the rains,
Mm.
it's got somewhere to go. It
Okay. Yeah.
doesn't flood the road. And I thought, if the back wheels go off the tarmac, that's it. It will just drop into this ditch and we're stuck there. And whoever's shooting at us will just come up to us and we'll be finished. But he must have got it within a foot or something of this trench, span off forwards again and drove like hell in the opposite direction. And we stopped some vehicles who were coming behind us, a couple of vehicles that we found about a mile or two back, and told them not to go any further. And then we carried on until we got to this this police compound out in the middle of nowhere, and some armed police went on ahead in a Land Rover, and we had to just stay in this police compound for a couple of hours and wait for them to radio back that it was clear to go. But they said it was probably Interahamwe, which is a militia group which was the cause of the genocide in Rwanda, who fled to the Congo after the genocide. And quite often they come into this particular area in northwest Tanzania to rob people, basically.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. What was the purpose of the
It's just pure robbery, because the police said that in the minivan the driver had been shot. That's why he was
in front.
Yeah, that's why he was driving, looking like a drunk. And two of their passengers were also shot.
Fatally, or
we don't know. They didn't know at the time, and then they still didn't know the time we left. But they'd driven right through it. The driver had obviously got to the point where he couldn't turn the vehicle round. He was in the middle of it and just kept driving.
Wow.
So they drove out the other side. So I assume the driver at least must have survived. Otherwise, he just simply wouldn't have been able to drive right through it. But
that's such a mental story.
Yeah, there's. I think travel's like anything else. If you drive for a living, like you're a taxi driver or a lorry driver, eventually you're going to see accidents. You're going to get involved in accidents. Things are going to happen, and I think traveling's the same thing. If you keep traveling, eventually you're going to have some unpleasant experiences from time to time. But like I say, it's not common. It doesn't happen very often.